also have Colin Boltz come forward, please? As I'm sure, go right there. As I'm sure all of you know, I'm usually pretty good about doing these things off the cuff, but this was important enough that I wanted to make sure I got it right. So bear with me as I share this with you. We're going to take a few minutes to recognize one of our scouts for an extremely rare award from the National Court of Honor of the Boy Scouts of America. This recognition is important because it demonstrates that your scout training, done well and with vigor, is not only applicable in the real world, but that you also carry your oath and law with you at all times. We promise to help others. Our motto is to be prepared, and our slogan is to do a good turn daily. Colin Boltz is being awarded the National Award of Merit. And I'd like to read to you the criteria for that award so you understand what it is. The award is to recognize registered youth and adults that have performed an attempt to save a life, or to recognize notable acts of service that need not involve a rescue or risk to self, but put into practice scouting skills or ideals. The nomination is made by the local council, who then forwards the nomination to the National Court of Honor. The recipient receives a certificate, a not to be worn on their uniform over their left pocket, and the appropriate level medal. The medal is to be worn on formal occasions and is approved to be worn with civilian wear. On 11 April 2022, Colin, in his Boy Scout uniform, of course you were, was ready to leave for a troop meeting back here at LCR. About that time, a 7-year-old girl who was riding on the back of her mother's bike had her foot tangled into the bike's chain and sprocket in front of his house. The flesh on her heel, from above her ankle to below her foot, was severed, showing bones and ligaments. There was enough bleeding from her wound to make a stain in the road the size of a manhole cover. Another woman, who happened to be driving by, stopped to offer comfort to the mother and child. In her statement to the nominating committee, she said that she began praying to God for help. As the mother of the child became inconsolable, screaming for help and trying to dial 911. Woman said that within seconds, Colin arrived with his first aid kit. He began applying first aid as if it was something he'd done in his entire life. In a matter of minutes, Colin's actions had stopped the bleeding, bandaged the wound, and eventually the ambulance arrived and took the girl to the hospital. And Colin made it to the troop meeting on time. Of course you did. The mother wrote, "To me, he is nothing short of a hero. His bravery, professionalism, calmness, and knowledge left me speechless, and I cannot thank him enough." Colin, as you are well aware, scouting rank advancement requires that we learn many new skills. The merit badges for all scouts earn cover a wide gambit of subjects, but the skills taught in some merit badges are deemed to be so important that they are required to attain the Eagle rank. Among them are important life skills like personal finance, citizenship, cooking, which I know you're well versed in, and you'll be just fine. But I would hazard a guess that the Eagle required merit badge that most scouts earn first, or very near the beginning of their career, is first aid. First aid is an extremely hard skill to teach. Not because the mechanics of bandaging a wound are complicated, but because the experience, the visceral act of helping another person in distress, is impossible to duplicate. That's why we as a troop, we practice, we pretend, we throw out scenarios, we have someone act injured, we learn how to fashion our ponchos into stretchers and turn our neckerchiefs into bandages. But this is still a far cry from the actuality of facing a situation where another human being, having suffered a trauma, is in need of our help. Scouting compensates for this by also stressing its values, reinforcing the idea that you have a duty to help others as part of your oath, consistently reminding you through your motto that you must be prepared. But honestly, we have no true metric, no way to actually test to see if you are in fact prepared as a scout. As your former scoutmaster, I'd like to think that all of the current and former scouts of Troop 475 take these obligations seriously. I would hope that if or when they are faced with similar situations, they too will rise to the occasion. Webster defines a hero as a person who is admired for idealized courage, outstanding achievement, or noble qualities. And by that definition, sir, you've been a hero for a long time now. And quite frankly, many other scouts have as well, because our oath and law obligate us to live by noble qualities. But practice, training, words are far different than actions. Colin, when I think of you, I don't think of you in heroic terms. I think of you as an example. You are a tangible demonstration to all scouts, both youth and adults, that all those games we play, like dragging the smallest scout with a fake broken leg down a dusty trail on a hastily constructed litter, it has a purpose. That every time we stand at attention and recite the Scout Oath and Law, they have meaning. They're there so that hopefully, when life challenges us in the crucible of fate and fire, that we have, in the words of that young girl's mother, the bravery, professionalism, calmness, and knowledge to take charge of the situation. So Colin, I'm not going to think of you as a hero, although your actions were certainly heroic. I'm going to think of you as a scout. A scout who paid attention, who learned the skills taught. A scout who didn't simply view merit badges as an obstacle to be overcome on the trail to Eagle, but as knowledge to be called upon in a time of need. A scout who, when that need arose, took the obligation he had agreed to live by very seriously. Colin, I think of you as a scout who, when the time came, was truly prepared. I can think of no higher praise or accolade to give you, and I challenge all of you present to be equally prepared. Colin, as a scout, your professionalism and tireless devotion to duty reflect great credit upon yourself, Troop, Pack, and Crew 475, the Boy Scouts of America, and the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection. I'll now ask Ms. Ronayne to pin on your National Award of Merit. The good news is it's on. The bad news, she didn't stab you in the process. Colin, on behalf of LCR, Pack, Troop, and Crew 475, we're very proud of you, and we all celebrate the rare honor that you have earned. And I believe Pastor Tweed is present and has a statement to make as well. Absolutely. You're more than welcome.
God has made this creation and the creatures within it lovingly and completely free. We are free to live our lives as we choose. With that freedom comes moments of crisis or circumstances of chaos when the fragileness of life is revealed and the stability that we expect changes our days in an instant. When a moment like that came to your corner of the world, you responded. You responded with calm courage and a compassionate competence. You went to that chaos with curiosity, and yet you remained in the middle of the anxiety. You provided care, comfort, compassion. You eased a mom's heart and provided first aid to her injured and distraught daughter. You quickly made it possible for the blood in the street that day to begin to be washed into the history of story of when a young girl took a bad fall off her bike. Actions like this are defining moments. They allow us and those around to see what we are capable of, what we are gifted to do, and trained and ready for if we have prepared ourselves. You helped a 7-year-old girl named Rona turn a chaotic moment of her life and pain into a childhood story of how others can come to heaven. We are so very proud of you. We give thanks to God for you and others like you who are prepared in your heart and in your abilities to run to help others. In that and in you, we see the image of God, loving, caring, and providing for our healing in the world. This is a reason for hope, and so are you. Congratulations on receiving the National Merit Award